Hey everybody, this is Chris from the Effects Loop. This episode is going to be a little different from our normal ones. It's going to sound a little rough, but that's only because we pulled this from our live episode that we had on our Facebook group. So, like I said, that's going to be why audio is a little rough. So, no need to worry. Nothing's really changed. Next episode will all be back to normal. The reason we did a live episode was for the fundraiser that I'm doing for St. Jude. You have through the month of May. If you want to give, the link will be down in the show notes, or you can join the group and we'll get you that info that way. So I just want to thank you all for your support that you've given us so far. I mean, hey, we're 10 episodes in, so thank you so much for, all of our listeners and everybody that's, being active on our social media of every kind. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the episode. Alright, so welcome everybody to I guess we can call it the official, maybe one-time only live ep of the Effects Loop. So, I'm Chris.
I'm Marissa.
I'm Scott.
I'm Diaz.
And cue music, which is probably copyrighted and hopefully won't get the stream shut down. Hey, we got Jamie Davis in here, and we already said his name, and we're not even a minute.
We got him for 15 minutes before he clocks in. Jamie's calling out. He's like, I'm gonna be sick.
Yeah, it's like
25 more minutes.
I got sick all of a sudden. But this one's not going to be sponsored, mostly because this is for charity. We're doing this live so that way we can help spread a little bit of awareness for. I'm sure a lot of everybody knows like what St. Jude is, but for the Play Live fundraiser for St. Jude. If you don't know like what St. Jude is, we'll go ahead. The short spiel is they're a children's research hospital, and all the money raised, like none of us see a penny of it. It all goes like straight to the hospital for the families. Like the treatment, the transportation, any food, any housing that they need while they're at the hospital. So it's pretty cool, and it all goes to a good cause. I'm sure we'll be repeating that a couple of times as more people trickle in, but I guess we'll go ahead and jump into our What's New. I don't remember what order was on the list.
I'll go with mine. I don't have anything, so
I don't have anything either, I don't think.
we need to get more new stuff.
Oh, I brought props. Shoot.
Oh, we could actually show stuff on this one.
Yeah. The fun part about having a video. I actually just opened this about 5 minutes ago. For those watching, I just got my wrought iron leather and effects Kyber fuzz distortion sort of a tremolo everything.
But Scott, that's 3 different effects.
What? Don't worry, there's a clicky knob here. Oops. Hope you all can hear that. Sweet clicking action.
We can hear that.
Yeah, I have not plugged this in yet. I'm looking forward to trying it out. I have literally opened it during the pre-ep. I got home like half an hour ago.
Nice.
Yeah, you were out of town, weren't you, for like a wedding or something? Or
Yeah, wedding, visiting family, all sorts of fun stuff. And right before I left, I got this kit in too. I think I featured this on our Instagram from our friends at Lambertones. So I got to figure out which strat I'm going to be throwing these in and playing around with. It's
not the John
going in
Mayer
the mirror.
strat.
Yeah, he gave us a hard time about us saying put him in the John Mayer strat.
So, yeah, I've got Vintage Noiseless in the one that I stripped down and relicked. But that also has an active preamp in it, so I'm not sure if that's the right pickup for it or not. And I've got a Squire Strat, so maybe I'll do the Squire.
I've got to replace my tele pickups, but it's got it's the in-one noiseless where it has a little button you push. I think I'd probably have to like replace all of the stuff, and I'm just kind of lazy on that.
If it's got the button you push, I think that's the S1 switching, so I don't think you actually have to worry about that.
It's something type of switching. So I still don't even know what it does. I just hit it every once in a while. I'm like, oh, that sounds different.
Isn't it in phase, out of phase?
Maybe.
Potentially sounds right.
We'll go with that.
Or it does what the like a four-way switch would normally do.
Oh yeah.
Give you that
which I
extra
think
mode.
Is actually what it is.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know.
Which is
No
kind of
clue.
the same thing, because like the 6th and 7th position are basically sort of out of phase or in phase.
Sure. I have no clue. I'm one of those people. You just give me a guitar, and usually that works. So I still don't know the difference between what is it, solder and solder or whatever we're talking about.
Oh god. Sorry.
There's a difference?
All the builders.
I don't know. You told there's something.
I corrected you on silicone and silicon. Is that what you're thinking of?
That's it. It's something like that. Yeah, that's it. Silicone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What's funny?
did you? Hold on. Did you just do product placement? What's the mug you're drinking out of?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, who knows about that? Now that people can actually see it.
This is featured from our Threadless store, the Effects Loop official mug. So
Which
get them while you still can.
should have a link somewhere in our group. If not, we'll post it a little later. But today this is all about the kids and raising them.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, all about the kids.
but now that you've seen the mug firsthand, you know they are legit products. They will get shipped out.
I have a shirt somewhere around here too. I just
Lost it.
We'll take your
I didn't
word on
think to wear
that one. He's like changing shirts in the middle of the podcast.
Oh
He's
no,
like,
you
"Hold
can't
on,
show
what's it-"
nipples on Twitch, man. So
Oh, you can't? Is
We're
that a
on
rule?
Facebook, so that might be okay. I don't know what the TOS is for Facebook.
you
You're
guys
Mark
don't want to see me
Zuckerberg. Can we see nips?
Can we get a at Zuckerberg in the chat?
Hold on, guys. Remember, we can't fix this in post. We got to stay on topic this time. And it wasn't even. I guess that was kind of my fault this time.
Steven Diaz is in the truck because his wife had surgery today, so he's been hanging out at the hospital. So
Yeah. No. So here, hold on. Let's see if I can.
we're in the flipping the camera around.
Oh, you can't see it. Yeah, I'm like outside the hospital. So I'm on location at a hospital.
At a hospital, not
At a hospital, not St. Jude's Hospital, at a hospital. So I'm out in the truck. She had surgery today, so we're gonna be staying the night here. And she's not even mad that I'm doing this. So
But she's doing
Good.
okay still.
yeah, doing good. She just ate and everything, so I think she's gonna take a nap,
Awesome.
which I'm kind of jealous of. There's the sleep on couches in hospitals. Scott, you probably know my pain if you've ever tried to sleep in a hospital.
I've been.
They're not made for,
yeah.
not made for tall people.
No, they're not. They're not made for anybody, but
They're not-
let alone tall people.
They're not made for any people.
Especially adult hospitals. I mean, for those that like hear this story a lot, one of my nephews was in the hospital for a long time when he was like 1. So like the neonatal and like children's hospitals tend to have better sleeping arrangements than,
Yeah.
but even still they suck. No one
Oh
wants
my
to sleep
gosh.
at a hospital. Let's be honest.
No. So, all right, let's move on to we got news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I did not hear about this, so I'm guessing Scott, you saw this somewhere.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because it's kind of like this leaked before the official press release came out.
Ooh.
But DoD and Digitech are shutting down.
Yeah.
Did like their marketing manager? Is that the same person that like?
Yeah, he sent like a big almost like don't be mad at me, be mad at these guys letter.
Because I remember
pretty
seeing
much-
that.
It's kind of like the write your congressman thing.
But wow.
He's like, yeah, we're shutting down despite the fact that our sales have grown and we've increased in our market share and all that. So he's like, yeah, it sucks. Peace out. he even put like you can contact this person and put the other guy's email address.
Whoa.
Nice.
So, which is crazy because DoD has made. Well, I guess we could say we saw this coming because a lot of the DoD, like the Bone Shaker, went down to $35. Where they were shooting for in the market, their price didn't really reflect what it was. Like DoD did a lot of heavily discounted stuff recently.
Yeah.
So I guess we could have seen it coming, but I think everyone's just kind of shocked, mostly because of the Digitech side, because Digitech, DoD was always kind of like an odd one.
Yeah.
The older stomp boxes, they looked a little different, and some people had them, not a lot of people did. But Digitech was more of the lower end entry level stuff that a lot of people did enjoy, though. And it's kind of weird that they are completely shutting down. But aren't they? Isn't the parent company Harman or something like that?
Yeah, so Harman is sort of this conglomeration of music companies, including like Crown Amplifiers, JBL, and there's multiple JBLs, by the way. There's like JBL Professional, and then there's like the consumer product lines. DBX is part of that line. And these two, AKG, I believe, is part of that, if I'm not mistaken. There's a whole big thing. Actually, I got an email from them today to like re-up my subscription to their Pro line. But yeah, they were acquired by Samsung 2 years ago, and a pretty big thing. So part of me just thinks this is like Samsung restructuring the company to be like in line with what they want to do, and they might just cast off a lot of the other stuff. Like I could see them selling.
I'm waiting to hear about like Behringer buying them.
I don't think Behringer would buy them.
No,
because like
they just
no.
TC Electronics.
No, TC bought them, I believe, is kind of how that went.
I know Behringer.
Neither company bought each other. The parent company that owns Behringer, that owns Midas.
Well, that company.
I don't think
might buy them.
But
I don't see
basically it's these big parent companies. No, I realistically I could see someone buying out the name and the IP, but I don't know. Because like half the glory of the stuff is you want to keep those people. So why lay everybody off and then sell the name company? So it's more likely this is all shutting down.
It's kind of sad because they've had a lot of cool stuff come out lately on both sides.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bummer. Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, I mean, I never want to see people losing their jobs through just people going for money or doing something like that. And like we were talking last week about the Gibson bankruptcy, and we were saying actually, hey, look, it looks like they're going to stay in business in a lot of their areas, like the Tascam side. Some of those kind of products are going to go under, or get sold again. But this is just straight up everyone's getting laid off, so it's a really sad situation.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, in speaking with this kind of trend, there's another piece of news that happened last week, which was Yamaha came in and acquired Ampeg amps. I don't know if you guys are excited about this as I am, because I have one specific thing I want to see out of this.
I'm 100% indifferent.
I'm curious what they're going to do is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think step one would be bring the Ampeg guitars back.
Ooh.
Yamaha makes good guitars. They have the manufacturing already. I want to see a Lucite guitar made up to Yamaha standards.
I would be all down for that.
Yeah.
I'd be down. Yeah. And Yamaha usually is pretty good about putting out a price point that's within reach for the normal consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of their higher end line stuff is still on the lower range of equivalent stuff.
Yeah, I remember I bought Line 6 3 years ago.
And now we have the Helix.
Yeah, and they kept everything good, and if not arguably, maybe upped quality or at least research of stuff, because like you said, we got the Helix. out of that.
Yeah, but are they still making spider amps? Because they can stop that.
Well, they did the Spider. Was it 6 we're on now?
Yeah, that one actually wasn't. I don't think that one was that bad. I think I played that at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
Every time I go to Guitar Center, I end up playing one just because I want to see. I just want to see how bad I can make it sound. I don't know why.
Yeah. But
It's kind of like
all the thing with the spiders is Boss undercut them with the Katana 50
oh yeah.
by just on the price side, so it's like
Well, even then,
Not even fair.
the software on the Katana it just took it to a whole nother level. So,
Yeah, but also the Katana is like its own animal compared to modeling actual stuff. So
yeah.
fair enough.
at least that's how I've seen like people describe it in like the Boss Katana group on Facebook when people have asked.
Boss, the Katana is more. I think the Katana is kind of like what everyone wishes some of the modelers would be like. They did a really good job of. I feel like Boss did a really good job kind of listening to what the market wanted and putting something out at a ridiculously low price point. I don't see how they can make. I understand it's made in. But Boss is that Japan or China? It's Japan, right?
Or Tile.
They're based out of
Japan.
Japan, but they manufacture in China.
Okay, but the fact that they're able to manufacture it cheaper and get a low price point, and the fact that it's Boss and they're going to make millions of units, so that's going to lower your cost. But the fact that they're able to put out one heck of an amp. What is the 50 watt at $200? $250?
Something.
200.
Yeah, insane. It's just crazy that they can do that, and they put out a quality product. I love my Katana.
Yeah, because like for the 100-watt head, what other 100-watt head can you get for $350? That's gonna actually sound decent.
Yeah.
I love that they put a speaker in the grill of the 100-watt head, so when you're practicing at home.
Yeah,
So,
it's been another selling point for me if I can ever get my hands on one.
well, there's that classic meme that went around for a while, or just the image of someone who put a 57 on the face
I should
of
totally do that.
a Marshall grill. You can totally actually do that now. But going back to the Yamaha acquires Ampeg, I think this is also a really nice marriage of two brands, because when I think of Yamaha, the first thing I think of is basses. They make really good basses that compete
I think
with
of pianos for some reason.
Oh, they make great pianos too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised they actually have been making, as I looked up like brand history, they've been making it since like the 1800s, which I was really surprised at.
Mm-hmm.
So
Their jet skis, phenomenal. Great.
Well, and their logo is just 3 tuning forks. So
yeah, so I mean that's where they got their start.
yeah. But so since when I think of like Yamaha basses and I think of Ampeg, I think of bass amps right away. So I think it's a good mix.
Do we know where the
Oh, yeah.
Ampeg, like amps were made? Were they made and imported, or were they like actually made in U.S.?
No clue.
Oh, they're headquarters in Washington, but that doesn't tell me anything else. Okay. Well,
Let's see. Where are we going on to next? Who's running the show?
we can move on to the Mooer, however you want to pronounce it, preamps.
I don't think I saw the preamps. Which ones are the preamps?
They're normally titled like 001, 000.
I thought were those preamps or were those actually supposed to be like amp simulators?
Both, because I actually do have a cab sim, but I think as soon as you throw a cab sim in there, it's officially a
Preamp.
like amp modeler. But you can turn that on and off, so it can still be a preamp.
Okay, so what's going to be the difference? I know they're micro pedals, right? They're smaller ones.
Yep.
And then the Amerisound though, and like the British one, whatever it's like, the American Sound and all that. So what's the difference between these two? That's what.
Oh, you're
besides
thinking.
size.
I think you're thinking Joy.
That's Joyo. Never
Yeah.
mind. Okay,
Yeah,
You can edit this out in post, guys.
This line of preamps has, or before these two, I think had 12 in it. It had a couple of different Fenders, a Vox,
Had a
3 or
Mesa.
4 Marshalls, a Mesa. They may have had like a Morgan in there, even. So I mean, they had a pretty wide range. It looks like these two are a Texas. Shoot, was it Texas? Tax Ida. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. Taxes.
I can't see anything.
Yeah. No idea what that stands for. It just the description is based on a low wattage contemporary amp head that spans blues and vintage gain. So
Little Walter?
maybe like Blues Breaker esque. But the other one is Brown Sound, so you can get all your Eddie Van Halen tones up in there with that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, where'd Scott go? He's back.
Is he?
He's just staring at us. I was like, it's frozen. No, he was just staring intently. He might be frozen. Oh no.
Now he's back.
There he is. Can you hear us, Scott? I don't think he can hear us.
Scott?
Scott is a Judy head. Yeah, I said it.
That's the facial confusion of something not working.
This is why we don't do live episodes, guys. It's only for charity this time.
So hopefully he'll get back before we move on too far.
There, hold on.
Oh, yeah, we'll catch up with chat. Stephen Ray Conradi says it's pronounced Moa as hitting.
Moa?
Moa.
Moa.
Yeah, that's just like that other company that is spelt like Wangs, but it's actually Wongs. And it's like, no, sir, I know how to read that. It says Wangs.
Ground control to Major Tom. Oh, there he goes again.
There he goes. And I thought I was going to be the one having problems doing the remote on location podcasting. Y'all make fun of me because I don't have internet, but this seems to be working.
That's fine. He asks, what's the best tube amp for recording and silent practice? Ooh.
That's a bad. I would say almost none of them.
The only ones I can think of, like, right offhand are, like, the low-end, Marshalls.
If you're gonna record direct, solid state, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You definitely want to do a solid state. Scott, can you hear us now? He's just gonna get mad. Someone keeps turning off mics and stuff.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I would say recording solid state would be your best bet. Definitely because you've got tube amps. The whole purpose of a tube amp, in my opinion, is definitely heating them up and pushing them and getting that sweet spot.
Yeah.
And if you're going to record direct, you're kind of defeating that purpose. But whenever you've got solid state, it's made for low volume, still sounding the same. You don't have to push it to get it to sound well. We were just talking about Boss Katana. If you want to record direct, I suggest a Boss Katana. They sound great.
Who is it? PV actually put out like a small like classic
Small Vox.
head and
Yeah.
a small like 5150 like head that had a XLR out. So that could also be a good option. I think they were tube. I'm like 90% sure. It might have been like
The thing about recording direct too is you got to make sure that you have something that has, I would say, a speaker emulation.
yes, that too.
You don't want to record out. You don't want to use an amp to record direct. Number one, if it's not set up to record direct, it's only set up to have a headphone out because you're not going to get the same quality of sound.
Oh no, not at all.
So you want to get something that has a speaker emulation. So honestly, your best bet if you want to record direct and you're kind of doing it on a budget, using a good interface and then using plugins. We talked about GarageBand on, I think, the episode with Sean, or maybe it was the episode before. Talk about recording direct, and you definitely want to do something that's made to record and sound well direct. Using a tube amp recording direct, in my opinion, you're not going to get the sound that you're looking for.
No, as I think historically it's probably been a little on the shrill side. So
yeah, it definitely
practicing that's more than fine, but recording that's gonna be a little rough.
Honestly, and then talking about recording, GarageBand or practicing, GarageBand's a great way to practice. iRig, stuff like that. If you're not, because when you're practicing, when I'm practicing, I'm not really worried about the overall tonal sound unless I'm practicing to get my sound set up. If I'm practicing parts and stuff like that, I'm more worried about setting up. If I'm doing parts, I'm just worried about getting close to what I want to sound like and just working on the actual movement on the guitar.
Yeah. Hughes and Kittner. Oh yeah, that's what Grant of Big Ear has set up at their booth every year.
Yeah, there's this with the 18, Tube Meister 18 or something like that.
Something like that. They're pretty good.
Yeah, definitely gives you a good sound that you're going to listen for. Once again, I wouldn't say recording quality is right where you'd want it to be. So, well, I mean, it's more...
That'd have to be an actual test on that, but...
Yeah.
I would feel that's one of those that's probably not.
I couldn't hear that.
Scott.
I can't hear Scott.
I don't think he can hear us.
He's leaving. He's coming back. Okay, so dang it, Scott, we can't move on to the topic. Yes, we could.
I mean, we could, but what was another?
I vote that we never do a live episode again. Throwing that out there.
This is for the kids.
No.
Children.
Well, we'll do it for the children.
So while he's getting back, if you weren't here when we actually started this, we're raising money for, or I am, but the guys are just kind of like joining me here.
We're doing our part.
This is my idea. Scott, are you back?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I can hear you, barely.
I'm giving the latecomers a rundown of what exactly we're doing here. Anyway,
Sure.
Up in the description, that'll take you to the donation link for St. Jude. We don't see any of the money. I don't. None of the other guys do. It all goes straight to St. Jude to make sure that families don't have to pay a cent for treatment, housing, food, travel, any of that good stuff. So it's really a really good cause.
Oh yeah.
But Scott, since you're back, do you have any opinions on the Mooer preamps? Mooah?
No.
Okay, then I'll wrap this topic up of I haven't listened to the new ones, but historically these haven't been that bad. If they were,
I feel like they're definitely, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they running? Probably like $40.
80 actually. They're a bit on the higher
80?
range,
Jesus, take the
which is
wheel.
why I have not picked one up. So yes, you are getting what you pay for, but I would probably spend the extra 40 or 50, whatever it is, to get the Sans amp line of pedals.
Yeah. I saw there was a person who did a side by side with the Joyo in those right when they came out. I think he had the British sound and then one of the Vox pedal.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember where it was. It was in one of the groups, 60 Cycle Hum or something like that. And he did say that the Mooer or Mouye or whatever pedals, they didn't sound as organic sounding as the Joyo pedals.
Interesting.
So, but once again, you're kind of comparing if you should buy from the Dollar. Well, you're comparing Dollar Tree to Dollar General. They both have dollar in their name, but you're expecting different qualities. I mean, in my opinion, they're both low end, and you're just going to end up kind of seeing which one sounds less crappy.
Yeah,
So you're not looking for the best one; you're looking for the one that's not the worst.
exactly.
So,
Yep.
Are these the new Dan Electro Food series?
Of guitar pedals.
The
Yeah,
newer pedals.
yeah.
Oh, Mooer in general, maybe. Or that might actually
Yeah.
be Joyo in general. With their, like, big box stuff.
See, the thing is like, and that's like the thing with like Mooer and all that is you've got all these other pedals like Donner and all this. When they're like all made in the same factory, they all look almost exactly the same, except for the graphics are a little different. And it's kind of just like you never know, like really which one you're paying for.
Yeah, on that topic then, these actually haven't come out as any other brand, so these may be like a 100% like their own product idea. Versus
Well, all the other ones kind of.
give us a tube screamer, give us a metal zone, give us a analog delay at this price point. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, and it's always been questionable with some of these brands. I'm not pointing fingers at any specific one of like, is this original circuits or not? You know, so
Yeah.
But when they all have the same color scheme and just different font.
yeah, there's definitely a few of those brands where it's just like it's clear that they're all the same thing and they're just slightly tweaked.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, Scott.
Now for something something I'm actually excited to talk about. Roland is now teasing the new TD17 V series of their V drums, which their numbering system does not make sense. But Roland's electronic drum sets are coming out with some new kind of software-based side of it, which is actually now tracking your performance as a drummer and helping you improve. Which I kind of think this is actually a really cool application of digital drum sets. There's now metronome features built into these things, and you can be tracking, are you ahead of the beat? Are you behind the beat? Are you swinging the beat properly?
Yeah.
Some of those kind of things. And I think that's a really, really smart way to use and market these as this is now your practice kit. You know?
Yeah, that.
At $1,000 though. Ugh.
But that might be helpful.
Yeah, because like me and Marissa have been on the fence of like wanting to learn drums.
Mm-hmm.
Like, space is a concern, as well as we're in a house with other people. We don't want to be like hammering away at learning drums. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even stomp pedals correctly, so I'm not going to be able to do a hi-hat and a bass drum at the same time. The only thing I can do is the intro to that thing you do. That's it. That's all I can do. and then the intro to Blind by Korn. Just the little ride cycle.
So, boss slash.
I mean, I've been shopping for the previous version of this. One of my friends is a drummer, but he does not Craigslist very well. So I've been on the hunt for a TD11 for a while. And I saw this and I was like, this might actually be worth like paying the new price for to have this feature if you're just picking up drums again.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the all mesh head version of the drum set's getting cheaper than it used to be. So there's some good stuff in there.
For sure.
Just search for a church that's like, we want to get away from electric drums. We'll sell them to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get them. The deacons wanted electric drums, and I finally talked them out of it.
I'm the Roland V drum stuff that I've heard recently sounds good. No qualms about it. And with the mesh heads, they get more of an organic feel. The new hi-hats are supposed to be really, really good, that you actually get some of that like natural feel of it back.
Yeah.
Don't they have the electric? Who has the cymbals that are like for electric kits, but they have a real feel? They're like got holes all through the top of them.
Zildjian makes one like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Where it's perforated entirely,
Yeah.
and you put a trigger on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fun.
Did you ever see the picture of the electric drum set with a cage in front of it?
I mean, they're still not the quietest things.
Yeah.
And if
One of my buddies is a drummer, and
people complain.
well, one of the fun problems is one of my buddies lives on like the 7th floor of his condo building, and he had an electric kit in there for a while, and his neighbor would come up and bang on his door because he was stomping too hard on the floor on the kick drum. And just the stomp was coming through. It wasn't like the actual drum was making noise. It was just him stomping on the floor.
The guy underneath, like, you're not even in time. Cut it out. He's got a metronome. He's holding it up to the ceiling. He's like, I'm helping you out here. You just get a note, like, taped to a metronome, slid underneath your door. Use this, please.
Steven, to answer your question on if this would be a great kit to start out with, maybe.
It's a big investment.
Yeah, it's a huge investment, so maybe not unless you're gonna actually, like, if you're serious about it.
If you really want to get an electric kit that you want to start out with, you can find some of the cheap, like Simmons. You can find some of those. You can find all the triggers, the head, or the brain for it, and all that. $150-$200 on your Craigslist or Marketplace. If you're gonna start, you want to, and that's something that you can go in cheap and recoup most of your cost in.
Yeah.
Buying new on drum kits is kind of like how I talked about PRS, and the guy argued with me. If you're probably going to listen to this, so I'm bringing it.
I will say this to Diaz's point. I've been seeing, since I've been shopping for the Roland series stuff, that there's not a giant dip in terms of like prices that I'm seeing drop. The problem is just the ones I'm seeing have been sitting for a while.
Yeah.
They don't move fast. So like selling it, you won't lose a ton of money, but it will sit for a while, and you're looking for the right buyer.
Yeah, you want to, and you on those, you definitely want to make a lowball offer, and most people will take it to get the stuff out of their house. Most of the people are getting rid of this stuff to try to get the room back in their house. That's like one of the most common things I see. I need the room in my house. Offer them a lowball offer, and then whenever you go to sell, just put what they had, take the first lowball offer.
Basically. So yeah. Next one. Our next news for today is the Joe Bonamassa signature 335.
Finally, someone's given this guy a signature piece of gear. Finally,
the third time.
he had the wah, and then he had the Firebird,
and then he had a Les Paul, which I actually liked. The Les Paul, wasn't a fan of the color, but I was just glad it actually came stock with a Bigsby. So
the Firebird was.
It came with a Firebird headstock too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is probably the best Gibson headstock in my opinion, because it holds tuning a lot better than the 3x3.
Is the brake angle fixed on that too?
Yeah, that one doesn't have really. The Firebird one doesn't really have a brake angle. It's pretty much straight across.
That's good.
So it's kind of like a reverse headstock Strat.
Yeah.
Like they do on the Jimi Hendrix Strat.
So, yay, Epiphone's putting out a Bigsby hollow body.
Yeah, they don't really put out Bigsby a whole lot.
And also, this has a more traditional headstock logo, whereas like, the Sheridan has that flowery thing on it.
That's a beautiful headstock.
I do like that. Is this a maple or a mahogany neck?
I'm like skimming the article and I can't tell.
Oh well, it's just him teasing it on Instagram. Or Twitter. There's not actually
so there probably won't be any specs until it's officially.
Yeah.
I'm just like highly concerned about the model that actually has like his name in big letters.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a fuzz too? Didn't he have a fuzz face?
He better not, because using pedals is just lazy.
Yeah. Trying to make it sound like something else, even though a fuzz was made to make you sound like a trumpet. So.
And he uses an always-on chorus too. So.
Hypocrite.
Hypocrite.
I call
does
it.
have a signature Dunlop. That's a whopping. You can get one for a whopping $400 on Reverb.
No. If anyone needs to put out like a signature like fuzz, I want Eric Johnson. Does he have one?
Eric Johnson, yes, he does have a fuzz. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
I want
still in
that.
production or not, but
I need to get one of those.
Alright, before we move on to our topic, let's catch up with chat for a little bit. Mark.
There's people chatting?
Yes, there's
Sweet.
people chatting. Mark says, "Tell me
Thank you.
your favorite." Ooh, actually, this could be actually a good topic, so we'll circle back to that.
Let's just talk about it now. Let's do it.
All right, well,
I mean,
hang on.
it's not like we can't derail. Come on.
Well, no,
It's,
but,
it wasn't a topic. It was just a command.
how dare you? But Mark is asking Marissa, "Do you have an estimated date for straps?"
Ooh. Probably late fall.
But you're hoping to have a prototype
I'm
by
hoping
NAM,
yeah.
like a single strap by NAM. So
Yeah.
Wait, which mark is this? I can't see anything.
Mark
You guys have to
Schwartz.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
Congrats, Mark Schwartz, on graduating.
oh yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, congratulations. There you go.
All right, so his topic for us was sell me on your favorite low wattage, 15-ish or less tube amp. Mine will be quick because my first choice for that is the Vox AC4.
AC4. I knew it.
Because no, this is why I've had the AC4, AC15, and the AC30 combo and head. So I've had like most of the range minus the AC10. The AC4, in my opinion, was the closest sounding to the full-sized AC30.
Okay.
Now you don't get like a headphone out or anything, so it's gonna be kind of rough. If you're wanting to like actually push it. But if you get the AC4, not the TV version, but the standard, I think it has a master volume. But if you get the TV AC4, you can drop that down to like half a watt, I think is what it was,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
crunch it up all you want to.
What's the speaker loadout on an AC4 again?
There's a 10-inch model, which is what I had, and then right after I got that, they actually had the 12-inch model. But I always put it because actually the 10-inch has a speaker out, so I always put it through a 12-inch cab. So
I'd have to go with what is the Fender? Is it the Bass Breaker?
The 007 one?
Yeah.
yeah, the bass breaker.
I haven't owned one, but every time I've played one, I've been very pleased with the sound of it. I'd have to say that one's probably up there on a good sounding tube amp. That or Jet City has some pretty good low wattage stuff that won't break the bank. So Jet City is always, I don't know, they kind of get lumped in with like the Bugera level,
Yeah.
but one of the main things is a lot of their stuff was designed by Saldano, and
Oh god.
Shit, what is he? I want. Is he going to get something? Yeah. Okay. Ow. Okay.
Rip headphone users, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that, guy. Well, but yeah, definitely have to say the Jet City low wattage stuff is pretty great too. They're more kind of the cleans. It breaks up pretty fast, so it's definitely for the people who don't want pristine cleans. They like their clean to be somewhat on the edge of breakup. So
Yeah.
that's good stuff too.
All right. My natural answer is AC15 hand-wired because that thing sounded fantastic to me the last time I played one. But that's not affordable. Yeah. Now for a complete change of pace, I brought props again. I have one of these, if you remember them from way, way back, the Fender Greta.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Oh.
This thing
It
is
was
just,
great.
they are ridiculous. Like, it's a lot of fun. I'm never performing with it, but I bought this. Back when I had an office in a building. Back when I had a job, I'd keep a guitar in there, and that was my like office amp to noodle around with and not blow everybody out. And now I have no idea what I'm doing with it.
That's two?
Yeah, it's two 12AX7s in there, or I think one's an ATY7. I don't know. I've played around with the tubes in here twice. Yeah, it's a 12AX7 and an AT7.
Nice.
There's the whole loadout if you get really bored and zoom in. I'll let you freeze that later when you're watching it again.
Yeah, go back, hit pause, and
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't make these for very long, but it was fun.
So it's like what a speaker in there.
It farts out the minute you put anything through it, but it's just fun to play with it.
I'm people watching right now, so I'm a little distracted. I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
I don't know if any of y'all would be able to talk on this, but Steven says Marshall versus Mesa Boogie.
That's
Mesa.
Those are two different things in my opinion.
They are kind of two different animals.
I would go with Mesa over Marshall only because I don't like the sound of Marshall when you're trying to go clean. I've never been a fan of a Marshall clean sound. I think Marshalls only sound good whenever you're running gain, and Mesa, I don't know. I prefer Mesa's crunch over Marshall. So,
the one Marshall sound I really like is like a JTM 45. That's the only real Marshall kind of thing I've really ever found I liked.
And that's it's borderline like low gain. It's not like super high gain. So it's a pedal platform almost.
Yeah, but you can get pedals that do the JTM 45 thing.
Yep.
I would say Mesa is incredible. Like they make stuff I actually want to get. Like one of my good buddies just bought a Mark V, and it's incredible. Price is no option. I'd probably say Mesa.
Yeah, I would almost go Mesa too, even though I've got like the Green Day cover band thing going on, so I kind of like have to go Marshall. But no, here's why: as I got the
just rehouse a Mesa into the Marshall.
I should, but
yeah.
I think the reason why, if I had to take a stab at why Diaz doesn't really like the Marshall drive sound, is probably because it's too like harsh and trebly when it's like, driven.
Very much
exactly. I actually in my super lead I cut the high pass filter. That helped, but it kind of killed the overall vibe of it. So I still got the crunch, but the good thing about Mesas is they're a little bit smoother on the overall quote unquote clipping. It's not really, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So
yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Marshall sound, but the Marshall sound, in my opinion, I wouldn't use a Marshall amp because I only want the Marshall sound every once in a while, and I just don't like the way. Like, I do love the sound of a Marshall with a tube screamer in front of it, and I'm not a tube screamer fan either.
Yeah.
Like that just works together really well in my opinion, but it's just. Yeah, like you said, kind of the treble harshness. I've said it in episodes before. I kind of like the darker sound, kind of a smoother. If I'm going, that's like I love my woodcutter, which is a rat sound, but it's very dark. Even with the way I run my amps, kind of a dark sound, I turn the filter all the way to get as much of a treble sound out of the woodcutter as possible. So I think I have the filter turned all the way down. So with a rat, it's kind of like an opposite tone knob. If you like most tone knobs, you turn to the right, you're getting more treble.
Yeah.
Turn to the left. On a rat, it's backwards. So
yeah, I think another difference between the Marshall and Mesa, I think the Mesa's probably got a little more active of an EQ, whereas at least in my case with the Plexi, if you turn the knobs for the EQ, it basically did nothing.
Yeah, it's not as sensitive.
No. Like, you could turn it, like, literally from 0 to 10, and there would be a margin of a difference.
How short are you, Chris? You, like, reached way up there. Like, I see you on your, like, tiptoes. Are you doing, like, a full stack?
No, it was a half stack.
See, I can actually see you, so I can...
But,
do you have any more questions? I like the questions.
Not yet, so we'll go ahead and hit...
Ask more
the
questions, guys.
topic that we had of... This one might be kind of quick. Does an artist endorsement disincentivize you to use gear?
Yeah, this is kind of the opposite of what we talked about a number of episodes ago about, like, do artist endorsements get us to look at stuff? And I think we all kind of universally agreed yes on that, artists we like and stuff like that will get us going there, at least looking at it or kind of sometimes pursuing the same sound. But this kind of came up for me seeing Joe Bonamassa playing an Epiphone Century and going, oh, it's not cool anymore. So...
I think that, it's kind of the opposite. So I kind of mentioned it in the group chat whenever we were discussing the topic. And it kind of ties into the whole Marshall thing is Slash. If I see Slash's name on something, I will probably be more likely not to try it or buy it. That's because I think Slash's tone sounds like butt. So I'm going to kind of throw that... What's that meme? How could you say something so brave yet so true? If you listen... honestly, in some of the older Guns N' Roses stuff, Izzy Stradlin had the better tone. I'm actually I've got a thing for rhythm guitar players and also guitar players who like do the vocals as well. Like Jerry Cantrell is one that I absolutely love. I think he's got a great tone though, and but Slash's tone, in my opinion, it sounds just on some of the older Guns N' Roses stuff. It just doesn't sound great, in my opinion. If you listen to, I don't know, even the solos on, let's see, Sweet Child of Mine is a good one. The tone isn't kind of what I would like to hear, but some of like Izzy Stradlin stuff really came in and kind of saved the day. You can really tell which one's which, and that's a big thing. Like, I don't care for his tone. So, like, he's got the octave fuzz, he's got the wah, and he's got a few other things. I know he's got guitars. Now, the guitars I'd probably try, but that's mostly because he's always played great guitars. Yeah. All of his Les Pauls were, like his main Les Paul, the 59 Gold Top or whatever, which is actually not even a Gibson. I think... it's actually a fake. It's a copy that a luthier made and put the Gibson logo on and everything. And I believe he stole it as well. Whenever he was recording, when they were recording Appetite, he actually stole that guitar.
Wow.
He like borrowed it from the studio or something, and then stole it. I could be wrong. Someone could fix the story, but from what I've read, that's like the thing. But yeah, like Slash is one that. I won't try his octave fuzz. Number one, I've never heard him use one, and it like I was like, oh, I've got to have that. I don't even know what he uses it on, but I think there's a lot of, if you like associate a player with something you don't always associate great tone with, you're not going to want to try it. The Billy Corgan signature Strat.
Oh yeah.
I played one and. It didn't make me sound like Billy Corgan, so I was kind of happy with that. Even though I do like some of the Billy Corgan sound, his sound wasn't always like aesthetic, like pleasing to the ear. It fit his music very well. So,
yeah, he's always had kind of a shrill thing that cuts when he's doing his thing, and it you got to have control and you got to have the right rig to make that work.
Yeah, definitely.
So David Hill says Slash stole the amp, not the guitar.
I think he stole the guitar. I'm pretty sure, though. We'll look that up. We'll fact check that later. We'll get on Snopes and see what's going on.
Next week we'll have Slash on the show, so after he
Yeah.
sees this and complains.
Yeah, he's like, listen here, guys. I gotta clear my good name. Maybe he stole the hat. That could have been it. He's at the Abraham Lincoln.
His hat was stolen, according to this article.
Oh,
Can he just stop stealing crap?
It's like,
Stop stealing stuff.
You're supposed to be a
That's
role
it.
model. My gosh.
He stole the riff from what was it, Velvet Revolver, and Fall to Pieces is the backwards version of Sweet Child of Mine, which isn't true, but
I don't
sorry,
think I
getting
have
notifications.
I don't have a
According to this, he did steal one of his guitars from Hard Rock Hotel in Orlando. He stole one of those guitars.
Oops.
He just has a problem. Like, we just need to get him somewhere and talk about his kleptomania. David, I'm glad I can't see David typing because he's probably going to be like, I told you it was the amp. Why won't you listen to me?
That's why
Sorry,
I had to
David.
hurry up and throw that in before we got too far off topic. But
We never get off topic.
Confirmed it was the hat that was stolen too. So
Okay.
Good grief. Slash, if you're out there, stop stealing stuff. It's wrong.
It's bad.
Also, don't play an Epiphone Century, because then I'm done.
He's gonna go buy them just to destroy them at that point.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, next one. What gear are you looking out for? I think we decided to do a normal, everyday piece of gear that you're looking for a good deal on, and then your holy grail. I guess I'll start with this, because I think mine will be pretty quick. I think my normal that I'm looking on a good deal for would be a Gibson double cut, special 2, so the dual P90s, but prices on those just keep going up. I think the lowest lowest one I saw, if I can get my words out, was 900 for a pre-2015. Pre-2015s you can find for $500 all day long, but that's because nobody wants them.
Was that the one of the faded paint series?
Yeah, so I think it had transparent black, the transparent mahogany red sort of deal, but they also have the TV yellow and regular black.
I love the TV yellow.
Yeah, but I already have one, so I don't want two junior-esque style guitars in TV yellow. That's just overkill for me. Believe it or not.
Yeah, if I got one, I'd have to do TV yellow first.
Yeah. As for Holy Grail, there's not much out there. I mean, I would love to have an original junior, but I think I have two. Is the Boss SG1, the slow gear.
Mm-hmm.
They pop up very rarely on the used market, and then the
The
Boss
prices on them are kind of up there too.
start at $200 or $350.
Yeah.
So the other one would be a FA1 preamp, which those are they start up there too, just because the Edge played them. They're up there.
Yeah. I'd have to say, so the gear that I'm looking out for right now is I want to get a Kemper remote, which are kind of tough to find because you can't buy them new, because usually they're sold out everywhere because people are waiting for them. And I really don't have the cash right now, so I'm kind of waiting to see someone who wants to trade and do a little trade fodder.
Right.
So, but my holy grail, what I really want is so there's a couple things I want. I want the T-Rex replicator,
The tape.
the tape. Yeah, they're $900.
I have a friend selling one for about $500 right now.
Ask him if he's interested in trades.
I'll text him when we're done with this.
For real, I've got the Father, the Fool, the Time Factor. I got some other stuff I can throw. So, because I really want one of those, and then I want an EP2. I had one that didn't work, and I didn't have the know-how to fix it. So I want one that's working, that or one of the full tone tape echoes. So I just like tape delays. So Scott, what you looking for? Oh, Marissa.
Yeah.
She's not on the camera, and like last week she wasn't here.
Gee.
Scoot, push him out of the way.
Yeah, we got the my chair's like dipped into the carpet at this point.
She's just like head sideways over there.
Okay. So,
She's looking for an Adam Clayton bass.
no. For normal gear, I just want to get my baseboard done. So,
So anything for that,
I want a big ear loaf.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I really want.
And what about your Holy Grail? Is
I
that
don't know.
still not the Adam Clayton bass?
No. That all rosewood Telecaster.
Oh, the
Harrison?
Harrison.
No. Was it the Harrison one or what's the one that they came out with that was like surf green with the all rosewood neck?
That was a separate series.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That
I want
was.
that's
You want
amazing.
the, like 100% everything's rosewood
Yes.
except for like the hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
The amount of paperwork that's going to have to come with that guitar is outstanding at this point.
yeah, good luck trying to cross state lines with that.
Yeah.
They've got like a roadblock set up.
It's like, do you have
Ma'am?
anything rosewood in this car? No. Alright. So now Scott.
Now,
Yeah, so sort of just run-of-the-mill stuff. I've been eyeing the Squier Jazzmaster baritones. I've been trying to kind of keep an eye out for.
I've got another one. Go ahead.
And then I'm always looking for like a vintage Champ or Vibro Champ.
Those the
That for a good deal.
ones that have like the 6-inch speakers, like those champs, or like the actual like full size.
Full size one.
Okay.
It's more about finding a good deal. Like I really don't need or won't necessarily have to have one, but it's just like, yeah, if a good deal comes up, I'm going to grab one.
That's fair.
I want a bass 6. That's what
Ooh.
Ooh.
I've been eyeballing. I've been thinking about getting the Squire bass 6, but I want to do the Olympic White. So I'm not a fan of bursts. So
Yeah, this isn't the only
Bill.
other option, like literally the Antigua burst or whatever.
no. There's the Sunburst and the Olympic White are the two that are on their like buy new, what they've got released right now. So
Oh, gotcha.
Was that a classic vibe?
I don't know.
I think so.
I don't remember it saying classic vibe or vintage. It might be vintage modified.
Mm.
So I think it's vintage modified. I think they're like $450 new, something like that.
Sounds
At least the strings will be big enough on that on the bass 6 that like you don't need to put a mastery bridge on it to get them to stay in place.
right.
Yeah, I don't play bass often, but that's not even something that I'd use live ever. It's just one of those would be fun to have around the house thing to play with.
Apparently, the bass 6 was a pawn shop model.
Oh.
The new ones?
Well, maybe not the new ones. Maybe when they first like.
No. They've got new ones on Sweetwater and all that.
Hmm.
So. But yeah, I want to play one. I want to get one of those. That's kind of another. That's like more of the realistic acquisition. So.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
You know,
Yeah, I guess my dream, my outrageous one is I really want to try out an Equitz. I'm hoping at NAMM to finally get to do that and look at like an Ashford.
He's bringing guitars with him, isn't he?
I hope so.
Do it, Kevin. Bring it, Kevin.
All right, Marissa, what would you have to add?
I'm surprised you didn't say a 76 Explorer.
Yeah.
That's
That's a noise we don't hear out Diaz very often.
because you can actually still find those, and they're not like that badly priced. As
Yeah.
compared to like a 57 Junior is gonna run you at least 10K.
I want to try the Edge. Didn't the Edge do like a limited run of strats?
Yeah.
Defender.
Yeah.
There was one a few years ago.
Yeah, I want to play one of those pretty bad.
I think when he became a board member at Fender, they did a special run for him.
Yeah.
Is he really a board member?
Yeah, him
Yep.
and Bono are board members, and so that's kind of like right after we got the Adam Clayton like production model and
He,
the Edge model in his.
well,
Right about
maybe.
the time John Mayer left too, so it makes you wonder what happened there.
Well, I'm just hoping that I wake up and there's a Fender Strat just put in my house
Everybody's doorstep.
without asking for it. Like you just wake up, you're like, oh man, this is so much better than that album that was shoved on my iPhone.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
All right.
Let's see, what was the next topic?
I think that was it. Does anybody in chat have any other questions for us or topic ideas before we wrap this up? So while we wait on that, again, we're doing this for the St. Jude fundraiser. The link is in the description of the video, so you can go find that. But any money that we raise from that, we don't see a cent of it. It all goes straight to St. Jude.
Yep.
GNL is
Ooh.
superior defender.
Who said that? Is that David Hill?
Steven.
Oh, okay.
I own both. They have pros and cons of both in their affordable ranges.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's just take it from like an MIM as compared to, what is it, the Legacy series is a low end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It both needed a lot of work of the two that I had. My MIM was better out of the box than the GNL.
Interesting.
Okay, so the GNLs I've played, the one complaint I've had is the necks.
Sticky?
Well, it feels plastic. So yes, I guess sticky. Like there's two. What was it? The Fender Classic Vibe series had the same feel. It's like whenever you, in my opinion, when I feel a neck that has so much coat on it that it feels like it's almost plastic. That's when I have a problem. GNLs kind of did that for me. I think Fender really has done well on the necks of their Mexican lines.
Yeah.
They've done a lot better of making them feel
What's that?
not more. Yeah, they're just they feel better. GNLs, I believe their pickups and their electronics are better out of the box than the lower end Fenders.
I'm looking to replace a pickup and a GNL right now, but
But what about? I don't know. But I mean, the Fender pickups always were the main Mexican line was always noisy. The bridge pickups were always way too thin. Sounded very it sounded very low end, and I think GNL's pickups sounded better in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, one of the nice things about the GNL is as well, you can get some really good steals on them.
Yeah.
Because the used market for them is like a buyer's market.
The problem with GNLs though also is to modify them, the replacement, anything to replace on it isn't as common as Fender. So what's the GNLs that have the like kind of staggered pickups? Like it's 3 poles and then it goes down and then it's 3 poles.
Comanche?
Maybe
Maybe.
it's the ATST, something like that.
It was something. Glenn Campbell.
The ASAT is the Telecaster.
Okay, the
Yeah.
I don't know. My thing with GNL though, like one of y'all was saying, I totally forgot who it was, but like looks overall, so that kind of feeds into the being able to find replacement and or different parts without having to go completely custom.
Yeah.
I just bought a Telecaster pickguard and then cut it to fit. That's how I did it on my ASAT.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, the sticky neck syndrome is definitely something to be aware of with the GNLs because it is that gloss kind of thing. My Schecter had the same problems. A bunch of other guitars had the same problems. And it's nothing that's not fixable with some elbow grease and a scouring pad. The GNL, I have the neck twisted. I was able to fix it with a fret level, but it still is going to cause issues in the future. And the last thing is on the GNL, the pickups are wired weird. So swapping in and out a pickup or changing wiring, you have to like really mess with the wiring on them to get them to work.
So something stupid, simple as a wiring, it's still even weird.
Yeah, because GNL did this thing with the Telecaster where they changed the pickup design. Which it is the hottest pickup I have, I think. Like that my Telecaster blows my Les Paul out of the water for output.
Wow.
Which is actually a problem often. But yeah, it's a cool sounding pickup that was it MDF? No, it's not MDF. Anyway, magnetic field, whatever pickup. It's unique. It sounds pretty good. I think it sounds better than a Mexican Tele pickup, but it's wired backwards. So if you want to put a tap, on the neck humbucker in a Blues Boy, you got to do some serious rewiring to get to work.
All right. Well, I guess unless you three have anything, I guess that wraps it up for us.
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you everybody that got to stop in. This will actually be this week's episode, so if you actually want to go back and listen to the podcast version, feel free to do that. It helps us with the listen. But
boost our numbers.
Yeah, boost our numbers, guys.
Yeah.
But
yeah, those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
For the podcast's sake, people listening to this after the fact, be sure to join our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups the FX Loop. If you're watching this live, you're already here, obviously. So thank you for that. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram. I think Scott and Diaz are like the main brain children behind that.
We have a secret competition whose post gets more likes. So
it's very true. No, if it's relevant, it's probably Scott. If it's not relevant, it's probably me.
That's probably a fair assessment. So
that's extremely true.
But so thank you for everybody that joined us for the live stream, and thank you everybody else for listening. So for the FX Loop, I'm Chris.
I'm Marissa.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Diaz.
And we will see y'all next time.
All right.
I guess I gotta go buy a milkshake. The wife wants a milkshake.